Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, and I am coming to you live from Memorial Field on the campus of Natick High School in Natick, Massachusetts. Here to bring you live coverage of today's high school varsity girls soccer contest between the hosting Red Hawks of Natick High School and the visiting Brookline High Warriors. Well, it's a day that every team in MIAA Division I, including Brookline, has circled on their calendar. A day they face off against the defending champs. And Brookline, being so lucky as to be part of the Bay State Conference, they get to face those defending champs twice. This being the second time after the season opener back on September 3rd, when the Red Hawks came to Brookline's house at Skyline Park and defeated the Warriors 2-0. Brookline hoping for a better result today as they get ready for this one. Brookline has lost each of their past two games, lost 2-1 in an upset loss to Braintree, and then lost 3-0 in a home game against Hopkinton, which technically by the rankings counts as an upset loss, although Hopkinton unbeaten so far this season. Brookline has dropped down from their peak at third in the power rankings down to sixth with these last two losses. And they're hoping to get things back on track here against the number one ranked Natick Redhawks, who are a perfect 9-0 so far this season. Well, pregame clock's about to tick away. I'm going to run our intro video, and then the PA announcer, I imagine, is going to take over. From Memorial Field, it's Warriors versus Red Hawks. I'm Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, and you are watching Brookline High Soccer. Chernychev launches one high. Header! Score! Lila Cannon! A big chance for Gallivan. Turns around, shot blocked by Kesselman. Breeze gets around the last one, charging in, shot! Scores! All right, as we can see, the captains meeting at midfield before this one gets underway. As always, throughout this fall regular season, this broadcast is brought to you in part by Esch Dental, located right in Coolidge Corner. Book your next dental appointment with local dentist and BHS Sports parent, Dr. Brandon Esch, for the non-corporate personalized dentistry our community deserves. Call 617-566-0103 or go online to eschdental.com to find out more and book your appointment. You can see that link and phone number down in the description of this video down below, where you can also see a link to the official Venmo account of the Friends of BHS Soccer Booster Club, which supports all 6 Brookline High soccer teams, girls and boys, varsity, JV, and freshmen.
Conference soccer match featuring the Warriors of Brookline High School and the defending Division I state champion Red Hawks of Natick High School. We're pleased to welcome you. Wish to remind you that this contest is being played by young athletes, not professionals. They're trying to represent themselves and their school to the best of their ability. Please remember to not cheer, criticize, or downgrade players, coaches, or the officials. We request that all cheering be supportive for your safety as well as those around you. We ask you officials for tonight's game, they are Mr. Ho and Mr. Oasis. And now introducing the starting lineups, we start first with the Brookline Warriors. Starting in goal, wearing 38, Julia Cherwin. Starting on defense, number 13, Julia Vinello. Starting on defense, number 14, Maribel Kesselman. Starting on defense, number 15, Babette Hall. Starting at forward, number 19, Jada Kimbrough. Starting at forward, number 20, Priscilla Hill. Starting in midfield, number 20, captain number 9, McKenna Hammond. Starting in midfield, she's a captain number 18, Hannah Leslie. Starting in midfield, she's a captain number 23, Vilena Cherchev. And starting on defense, she's a captain number 26, Sydney Freeze. Please welcome the rest of the Brookline Warriors. Their head coach is Ben Peters. And now here's the starting lineup for your very own Natick Redhawks. Starting in goal, wearing number 1, Liesel Niedermeyer. Starting forward, number 3, Lydia Proya. Starting on defense, number 6, Lulu Wislaki Wasecki. Starting on defense, number 7, Stella Bogus. Starting forward, number 11, Megan Mila. Starting midfield, number 13, Abby McCauley. Starting forward, number 15, Nicole Proya. Starting on defense, number 21, Kira Henderson. Starting midfield, she's a captain, number 17, Olivia Penn. Starting on defense, she's a captain, number 22, Kendall Hacker. And starting at midfield, she's a captain, number 25, Cassidy Moriarty. Please welcome the rest of the Natick Redhawks. Their head coach is Carrie and Daly Denise Trubiano. And now, fans, would you all please rise and remove your hats as we honor America and those who have defended or are currently defending our freedom with the playing of our national anthem. Yay, Rory.
Did the Proya sisters swap numbers or something? Because I had Nicole listed as 3 and Lydia as 15.
If it was the first roster of the year, yes, they were backwards.
Oh, that figures. Okay, we will soon be getting this one started as we have concluded the pregame ceremonies. Wi-Fi is starting to give me a bit of trouble out here. It tends to be pretty shaky out here at Memorial Field. I'm hoping it gets better as the game goes. It's been kind of in and out. As always, I'm recording these broadcasts at the same time I live stream them, so I'll have a fully recorded version I can upload later tonight if things don't get better. Looks like the Proya sisters, Nicole and Lydia, have actually reversed their jersey numbers. Nicole is 15, Lydia is 3. I had it the other way. It appears the first roster that was given out at the start of the year was backwards. So that is where that stands. See Brookline huddling up on our right, white jerseys, blue outline jersey numbers, Natick on the left, red jerseys, white jersey numbers. Even if the Wi-Fi is a little in and out, I'm hoping that at least my audio is coming through all right. Only so much we can do. As we get ready to start the first half. A fresh 40 minutes on the clock here at Memorial Field. Looks like Brookline's going to get the opening possession. Number 9, McKenna Hammond at midfield, getting ready to get us going. And here we go. Warriors versus Red Hawks underway. First pass slid all the way back to Babette Hall at the back line. Kicks it across midfield, but headed back and collected by Natick's number 17, Olivia Penn. Natick working it around the far side. Penn sends pass up, broken up by Brookline. And ultimately, the ball recovered by Anna Leshley. Tries a pass for Lila Cannon. It's knocked away, but Cannon deflects it back forward. Chased down in the corner. I think that's number 9, Allegra Gagnon, who is keeping it away from McKenna Hammond. Ball being kicked back and forth now. Goes off ahead and kicked towards the middle of the field. And more collisions over the ball. Ultimately recovered by Natick. Brookline keeping up the forward pressure as they chase it to the near sideline. Number 3, Lydia Proya now at the ball. Passes it back. They work it along the back line there. Sent up from, I think, number 22, Kendall Hacker, up to, I believe, Gagnon, as they work it now further up the far sideline. Pass to the middle. It's booted way upfield. And the Brookline netminder, Julia Sherwin, just going to pick that one up. That one booted up by number 25, Cassidy Moriarty, who has scored in at least 2 consecutive games against Brookline, including the season opener this year, as well as last year's Final Four, where Natick eliminated Brookline by a final score of 5-2 before going on to win the championship. Hard collision near the sideline, but it just goes off the head of the Brookline player, so Natick ball. Pass slid over to Moriarty. Moriarty passes away, goes to number 21, Kira Henderson. Henderson's kick blocked by Priscilla Hill, but recovered along the back line by the Red Hawks. Out to the near sideline, Lydia Proya with the ball. Slides it back to number 7, Stella Bogus. Bogus passed it up and now worked over to Lydia Proya once again. Sends a long leading kick, blocked and kicked away by Sydney Freeze. Passed up to Velena Chernichev, back to Hall and booted upfield. Race for the ball now, kicked away. Good defense there by, I believe, number 22, Kendall Hacker, to keep that away from Hammond. Priscilla Hill sends it over to Hall, and now up the field to Jada Kimbrough. Back to Anna Leshley. Leshley tries to send a pass through just off the mark, kicked away. Penn slides it over to Henderson on the near side. Henderson boots it up the line, knocked down by Freeze, recovered by Lydia Proya, trying to send a leader for Nicole Proya, cut off, and a smart deflection by Priscilla Hill to get it out of bounds off Natick. Hill throws it back to Freeze. That one headed back, headed a couple of times. Now deflects down, collected by Cannon. Cannon kicks it upfield. Taken and stolen back, stolen away from Gagnon. Now Brookline racing up. This is Julia Vianello. A long kick, not in the spot needed for a pass and well wide of the net. As Natick now sets up for the goal kick. Goal kick is sent up to Henderson. Henderson tries a pass, intercepted by Hill. Hill disrupted by Nicole Proya. It rolls out of bounds. Brookline ball. Hill throws it in for Leshley. Leshley taps it back to Hall. Hall boots it up the middle, gets to Cannon. Cannon taps it to the outside, and it just skips away from Vianello out of bounds. This throw-in goes to Penn. Passes it back to Bogus. Bogus tries to kick it upfield, taken away by Hill, but dribbled too far out in front of her, intercepted by Moriarty. Pass across to, actually, I think that's number 6, not number 9. That's Lulu Wislaki-Wasecki. Now they work it up the far sideline, but cut off out of bounds. Throw in goes to Leshley. Leshley dribbling through, pass up misses Cannon, intercepted by Henderson. Couple quick passes, goes back to Hacker now upfield, finds her target. Now a pass back, bit errant, almost taken away by Kimbrough, but kicked away by Bogus. Goes out far side to Wislaki-Waseki. Wislaki-Waseki goes across to Lydia Proya, but an errant pass aimed at Henderson, disrupted by Kimbrough, but it is going to be recovered by Bogus. Bogus gets the pass away to Henderson along the near sideline. Henderson walking it up, pass to the middle. Gets to Lydia Proya, now back to Hacker, upfield. Knocked away now by Mirabelle Kesselman. Knocked back by Hacker, that's flying towards the far side. Wislaki-Waseki cannot keep it in bounds. It'll be Brookline ball. Throw in, lost out of bounds, and it'll be Brookline ball again. Throw in, passed back. Vianello kicks it upfield, knocked back by Bogus. Out to the far side where it's passed back to Wislaki-Waseki. Now back to Hacker. Upfield to Moriarty, tapped out to Wislaki-Waseki. Wislaki-Waseki walks it up the far side. Pass up, finds Nicole Proya. Now kicking a leader upfield, but it's going to be too far. Cut off by Hall and sent back to Sherwin. Sherwin boots it upfield, knocked back by Wislaki-Waseki up to Moriarty. Moriarty out to Henderson. Henderson upfield, does get up to Lydia Proya, who keeps it in bounds. That pass blocked by Freeze, recovered by Proya. Proya pass back for Penn. Penn trying to dribble through traffic, disrupted, and ultimately recovered by Vilena Chernichev. Pass back Sherwin. Sherwin almost off the mark with that pass there, but Freeze does get a boot on it. But Moriarty muscles that ball away, tries a pass, misses, knocked away by Cannon, and ultimately recovered by Hall, who boots it across midfield. Sliced by Bogus there as she was trying to clear it, and it rolls out of bounds with Kimbrough applying some forward pressure there. And a bit of confusion about whether or not they're supposed to get a new ball for this throw-in. But they do ultimately give the new ball to Hill. Throws it in, deflects down. Corralled by Hammond, pass back Chernichev, now for Hill. Bit of a ricochet there. Chernichev manages to pass it through to Leshley. Leshley trying to thread the needle here, trying to dribble her way through. Leshley applying some pressure, and Moriarty forced to kick that one out of bounds after a big rush upfield. Hill throws it in towards the middle. Passed to the outside to Kimbrough. Kimbrough trying to tap it forward, but nobody there. And it's going to be scooped up easily by the Natick netminder, Liesel Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer rolls it in to Hacker. Up to Wislaki-Waseki. Wislaki-Waseki up to Penn and back to Hacker. Now booted way upfield. And boxing out is Kesselman, keeping it away from number 11, Megan Mila. Gives it over to Freeze, who kicks it upfield. Off the deflections, it's collected ultimately by Lydia Proya. Pass back to Bogus. Bogus fakes a big kick and instead sends it up to Proya. Proya across to Wislaki-Waseki. Now to the middle, Moriarty. Now out to Wislaki-Waseki. And now they slide it across to the near side. Henderson. Henderson pass forward. Finds Nicole Proya. She's got some space. Launches a high kick, but that's going to go too high and over the bar. A good idea there from Nicole Proya, but couldn't quite keep it under the bar there, as it'll be a goal kick for Brookline now. Just under 10 minutes into this one. Sherwin kicks it up the middle, knocked right back by Henderson. And we got an offsides call against Natick. Their forwards tried to pull up their speed, see if they could get behind the defenders and then make a rush for it, but they could not. The offsides is called. It'll be a free kick coming from Hall. This one flies across midfield, goes off the foot of Vianello, off the head of Kimbrough, taken by Lydia Proya. Pass back to Bogus, up to Henderson, and headed away from the middle there by Leshley, but goes right back to Hacker, who boots it upfield. Down by Freeze, and a couple players missed it, but now Henderson boots it upfield. And Sherwin's going to come out and boot this one away as Mila was starting to apply some pressure. Knocked down by Kennan, recovered briefly by, I believe, number 13, Abby McCauley, but now lost, taken back by Penn through the middle, disrupted and taken away by Chernychev. Slides back to Kesselman. Kesselman boots this one upfield, knocked back by Henderson. Recovered by Penn. Penn pass back to Hacker, now out to Wisłocki-Wasecki. Wisłocki-Wasecki up to McCauley, back to Hacker. Hacker's pass is miscommunicated with Wisłocki-Wasecki there, rolls out of bounds, Brookline ball. Throw in on the far side. And try and work it through the middle, but disrupted. I think it was Penn who deflected that one. Recovered now by Freeze, sent back to Hall. Hall boots it upfield, downed by Kennan, and kicked away. Goes off the body of Hall. Now battling through the middle, it's recovered by Leshley. Leshley pass back Freeze. Freeze slides it across Kesselman. Kesselman dribbling up with it. Kesselman finding a bit of a hole. Tries to slide it forward, and racing after it is Hammond. Hammond keeps it in bounds. Hammond's got it along the far sideline. Pass back, misses her initial target, but goes back to Chernychev, who launches a kick towards the box, and taking it off a hop is Niedermeyer. Kimbrough was crashing for that one, but could not get there. Long kick upfield by Lydia Proya. It's going to go all the way down to Sherwin. 27.5 minutes on the clock here in the first half. No score so far between Brookline and Natick. Sherwin punts this one. Deflected down. Proya sends it back to Henderson. Upfield, and it's going to be chased down by Freeze. Freeze sends it back to Sherwin. Up to Freeze. Freeze up to Leshley. Leshley trying to dribble around, and they call the foul on Henderson. Henderson was hoping they would call that she got ball. I think she did get ball with her foot, but I think like her body and her hand were also on Leshley, and that's just too much physical contact when a player falls to the ground. They're going to call that foul. So a free kick from about the 43-yard line of the football field on Brookline's side. Hall kicks a line drive up the middle, knocked down and recovered by Penn. Penn passes up, misses, taken by Freeze. Freeze turns around, sends it back to Hall. Hall kicks another line drive up the middle. Hammond couldn't corral it. It's taken instead by Moriarty, passed over to Mila. Mila for Moriarty, being pressured on all sides, but manages to keep possession and send it back to Wisłocki-Wasecki. Now Wisłocki-Wasecki back to Hacker and back up to Moriarty. Across to Henderson now. Henderson up to Lydia Proya. Back to Henderson. And across the field to Wisłocki-Wasecki. Wisłocki-Wasecki gets a pass up to Mila. Tried to send a leader for Moriarty, but she wasn't ready for it, and it's kicked away anyway by Kesselman. Hammond's pass, too far for Vianello to chase down, goes out of bounds. A substitution coming in now for Natick before they throw in. Coming in, number 9, Allegra Gagnon, as she replaces number 15, Nicole Proya. Gagnon, along with Moriarty, scored the 2 goals for Natick in the season opener, as Gagnon is called offsides on that play. Free kick for Brookline from around the 30. Kesselman boots this one upfield. Hammond trying to put on the Jets for it, but being boxed out by Hacker. And she does force Hacker to get a foot on it and send it out of bounds. Or, no, it didn't go out of bounds. I thought it did. But play continues on. Lydia Proya cuts around a defender. Now cuts back as Hill is trying to stay with her. Pass to the middle, misses Penn, but gets to McCauley. Pass blocked by Freeze. Freeze taps it up to Cannon, back to Leshley. Leshley back to Kesselman, further back to Hall. Hall's pass up, intercepted, taken away. Long shot, Moriarty, saved by Cherwin. And no one was there to try and collect the rebound as Cherwin bobbled it briefly. Sherwin punts it upfield, deflected down. And now that pass blocked by Leshley, but Penn manages to get back just enough to tap it back to Bogus, who now gives to Proya. Proya back to Penn. Penn racing up with it. Pass almost threads the needle there. It's deflected by Freeze, but takes a bad bounce out the back line. And we're going to see our first corner kick of the day, or at least we're going to see the end result of it. I'm not able to see the near side corners here in the press box at Memorial Fields, but we will see the ball when it flies in. Here it comes. Off ahead, straight up in the air. Still in the box. Headed away by Chernychev. Kicked back by Henderson. Saved by Cherwin. Up kick by Kira Henderson as it was starting to bounce out of the box to at least get a shot on net, but good reaction by Julia Cherwin to snag that one. Off the deflections, it's tapped forward by Leshley. Kimbrough gets a handle on it, walled off but recovered by Hammond. Hammond manages to slide one over to Leshley. Leshley dribbling, trying to spin, working it up the near side, kicked out of bounds. It'll be Brookline ball. Quick throw in, goes back to Chernychev. Chernychev tangled up and McCauley picks her pocket. And it's knocked out of bounds by Hill. Throw in to Proya. Pass to the middle to Moriarty. Across to Islaki Wasecki. Now up the line for Mila. Mila's got the ball on the far sideline, trying to cut in, but ran out of space as Vianello came on the help defense and kicked that one away. It will be a Natick throw-in. This throw-in bouncing along, ultimately collected briefly by, I think, Penn. Knocked out of bounds by Brookline, another Natick throw-in. Throw-in goes to Gagnon, tapped back. Now booted into the box, but nobody there. And it's taken harmlessly off a couple hops by Cherwin. Cherwin punts it towards midfield. Off the head of Cannon. Kicked away by, I think, Henderson. And it's now chased down by Freeze. Sydney Freeze, Brookline's team leader with 5 goals and 2 assists. But Brookline opting for a different strategy, playing her on the back line. She did play defense in the first 2 seasons of her career before switching to striker last season and proving to be a big asset for the Brookline offense. But they're trying to see if a different formation can work here against the defending champs. Pass goes across to Proya. Proya sends one up the middle, knocked away by Hall. And getting tangled up for the ball and ultimately kicked away by Kesselman, but knocked right back. Natick keeping up the pressure. McCauley tries to slide one through, but just off the mark from where she might have been able to get it to Proya. And instead, it's picked up by Cherwin. Cherwin punts it off the head of Leshley And Natick had it for a second, but knocked away by Hill. Gets to Chernychev. Pass back Freeze. Freeze kicks one across midfield, but knocked right back by Bogus. Recovered by Kesselman now. Kesselman dribbling. Pass. Not sure where she expected someone to be on that one, but that is going to be out of bounds. Natick ball. Throw in. And they're going to call Hammond for the foul there as she pushes off Proya trying to get to that ball. Free kick is just going to be passed up the line to Proya. Proya battling with Kimbrough. Kimbrough applying pressure, but Proya gets the pass back to Henderson. Across to Hacker now. Hacker sends it upfield, intercepted by Freeze. Over to Leshley. Leshley, pass up Chernychev. Chernychev looking around, pass misses. Cannon taken away by Wisecki. Up to Penn. Miscommunicated there, and it's intercepted by Chernychev. Sends a leading one forward, too far forward. Kicked away by Hacker. Recovered by Vianello. Sent back to Kesselman. Kesselman, big boot upfield. Deflects off the defense, going the wrong way. Kimbrough trying to get to it. Kicked away by Henderson. Proya sends it back. Now back near side to Henderson, who kicks it way upfield. Headed back the other way by Freeze. Recovered by Proya. Proya sends it across to Wisecki. Wisecki disrupted, and Hammond recovers, gives it to Leshley. Back to Hall. Kicks it upfield, deflects up in the air again, and headed back to Henderson. Henderson kind of whiffs on the kick there off a weird bounce, but it is recovered by Hacker. Pass over to Moriarty, sends it up to Gagnon, back to Penn. Penn kicking a leading pass. It's knocked away by Hall, but not very far as Freeze has to try and recover it. Manages to barely get a pass away to Hill. Hill's kick blocked. Hill recovers, sends it up the line, deflected, but goes up to Cannon. Cannon boots it upfield, stopped by Bogus. Now the loose ball taken by Penn. Pass near side, Proya. Proya to the middle, to Moriarty. Across to Wisecki. Just over 17 minutes on the clock here in the first half, as that's going to be booted out of bounds by Kesselman. Subs checking in on both sides. Looks like Nicole Proya coming back into the game for Natick. I think she's replacing Megan Mila. For Brookline, number 6, Paige Hammond, and number 3, Elin Lindgren-Palm into the game, replacing Jada Kimbrough and Lila Cannon, as it looks like Brookline is shifting Priscilla Hill up to the forward line as they have Lindgren-Palm take her spot on the near side wing midfield. And a big shot off the post from Lydia Proya, but the rebound recovered. Nicole tries a shot blocked. That's going to roll out the back line. A long shot from Lydia Proya went off the near side post. Sherwin was just watching it. I think she expected it to go further wide than it did, and she's lucky that one went off the post. They set up Hacker to kick the corner kick here. This one flies in high, header, and it misses just wide of the net, and good fundamentals by Elin Lindgren-Palm, manning that spot over by the post. As that header, if it was going to go in, it was going to go in that near side pocket there, but Lindgren-Palm had it covered. I think it went off the head of Moriarty on that play, not sure. 15.5 on the clock here in the first half. Sherwin boots it, deflects down. Lindgren-Palm kicks it up to Hammond. Knocked away by Bogus. Headed back by Kesselman. And Leshley takes it. Bit of confusion with Hill there, but Leshley, despite the pressure from Moriarty, kicks that one upfield, knocked right back by Henderson. Hall was walling off Proya there as Sherwin comes out and picks it up. Sherwin punts it, cross midfield. Bouncing along, Moriarty passed the outside, but recovered now by Hammond. Hammond taps back Vianello, sends it up the line, looking for Hammond, cut off by Hacker, who boots it out of bounds. Throw in, deflected down and kicked out by Penn. It'll stay Brookline ball. This throw in gets to Hammond, knocked back, battling in a tight space. Hammond kicks it forward, but nobody there. It's taken by Hacker. Hacker boots it upfield, knocked down by Kesselman, and racing back for it was Hill, but instead taken by Wisecki. Sends it up, gets through to Nicole Proya. Nicole Proya dribbling with it. Trying to get around Vianello. Vianello staying with her. And Vianello able to get that one away. Kicks it upfield, deflects towards the middle where it's taken by Moriarty. Pass back, Hacker. Across to Henderson. Henderson kicks it, goes over the head of Hall, but deflects off Proya and is recovered by Hall. Hall passes up to Hill, back to Lindgren Palm. Popped up in the air, off the head of Hacker. Ball gets knocked back to Wisecki, now over to Hacker, up to Penn, and back to Bogus. Bogus sends one up the near side, taken by Henderson. Henderson sends it up the line, no room for Proya to take that one. Freeze going to box out Nicole Proya. She does keep it in bounds, but had no help for it to be taken, so Lindgren Palm boots it upfield. Intercepted by the Red Hawks, taken now by Lydia Proya. Pops it across the field to Wisecki. Wisecki. Pass up for Gagnon. Lost out of bounds. Natick ball. 12.5 on the clock here in the first half. No score yet between Brookline and Natick. Working on that far sideline. A kick towards the middle, knocked back by Hall. Popped up in the air by, I think, Gagnon. Goes off the head of Lindgren Palm, but doesn't go the way she wanted it to, as they're now battling for the ball. No foul called, although Lindgren Palm got pulled down. Freeze kicks it up to Leshley. Now that kick deflected down. Goes through the middle, and it's taken by Penn. Penn pass back to Wisecki. That pass gets up to Moriarty. And now back to Penn. Penn up to McCauley. McCauley taps it over. Now across Penn. Now back to Wisecki. Sends it up the far sideline. That kick from Moriarty blocked and knocked out of bounds by Vianello. Throw in here. Booted away by, I think, Kesselman. Headed back by Hacker. Recovered now by Leshley. Leshley passes it back to Freeze. Freeze looking around, sends it up the middle to Leshley. Leshley's got some space to dribble. Pass across Chernychev. Chernychev looking, sends one up the far sideline, but couldn't connect with Vianello there, and it goes out of bounds. Megan Mila subbing back in for Natick, as I think she's going to replace Allegra Gagnon. With just under 11 minutes to go here in the first half. Throw in goes to Penn. Penn back to Bogus. Bogus pass away from the forward pressure over to Henderson. Henderson boots one upfield, downed by Lindgren Palm, but recovered by Lydia Proya. Sends it back to Henderson, who slides it across to Hacker. Hacker up to Wisecki. Now a pass to the middle. Does get to Penn, and she manages to tap it up to Nicole Proya, who boots it upfield, sliced it a bit, Pass going to bounce out of bounds. This throw-in goes back to Freeze. Freeze kicks it up. Moriarty stays with it, gives it over to Islaki-Waseki. Islaki-Waseki across the middle, pass forward, knocked away by Freeze. Recovered by Hill. Hill's pass blocked, and almost a dangerous chance for Natick, but it's kicked away by Lindgren Palm. Recovered by Henderson, who sends it across to Islaki-Waseki, and now up to Penn. Across Moriarty. Moriarty taps it up for Henderson. Ricochets off Hill, out of bounds. It'll be Natick ball. Lydia Proya looking for somewhere to go. Gives it to Moriarty. Moriarty fakes. Now passes across to Islaki-Waseki. Gives it back to Penn. Penn a long shot. And it skips past Sherwin for the goal. Oh, a goalkeeping error for Brookline, and Natick gets on the board first off the goal by Olivia Penn, assisted by Lulu Islaki-Waseki. And boy, that's not how you want to give up the deficit to your opponent. I mean, if it had been like a really well-executed play by Natick or something like that, or just an unlucky, deflection to set up a good shot, that's one thing. But boy, that's a tough play. Oh, they actually gave the assist to Moriarty. I thought the assist was Islaki-Waseki, but that's my mistake, I guess. And so Brookline now playing from behind with just over 8 minutes on the clock here in the first half. And this is a strong Natick team with a very strong defense that you don't want to be trailing against, because trying to find a goal against them when they have a lead they can hold on to, that is brutal. I mean, this Natick team is enough of a juggernaut as it is without them also being in the lead and being able to protect that lead. Tough spot for Brookline to be in here. As the scrum for the ball, Nicole Proya couldn't get a shot through traffic, and it's knocked loose, taken by Brookline. Pass goes out far side to Hammond. Hammond trying to battle her way up, runs over her defender and is called for the foul. Pass up the line, Mila. And manages to keep that in bounds despite the deflection. It's poked loose by Brookline, though. Now sent back. And passed around by Natick, gets to Penn. One player who's checked in for Brookline, which I missed earlier, is number 22, Eva Berkson, who appears to have been placed on the forward line. As that ball lost out of bounds, it'll be Natick ball. Throw in for Mila. And it's knocked out of bounds again. Throw in. And it's being battled along the far side, rather. A kick goes into the box, headed away by Lindgren Palm. That was a dangerous chance for Natick to potentially go up by 2, but Lindgren Palm able to contain it. Pass goes up to Hammond. Hammond kicks up, misses Berkson, knocked out of bounds by Hacker. Six minutes on the clock here in the first half, and Kimbrough checks back in, replacing Hammond. Throw in a couple of deflections. Goes off the head of Penn and Nicole Proya. Chased down by Hall. Pass back to Sherwin. Deflects down. And ultimately recovered by Kesselman. Pass up. Kimbrough sends it back to Kesselman. Kesselman, big boot upfield. Goes off ahead, straight up in the air. Downed by Natick. Gets to Penn. Penn across to, I think, Wislocky-Wasecki. Pass back to Hacker. Booted up in the air. Goes off ahead and off another one. Over to Leshley, and it's tapped away. Gets up to Mila. Mila blocked on the pass there. Out of bounds, Natick ball. Moriarty throws it in to Nicole Proya. Proya from the near side corner, dribbles in, blocked by Freeze. Back to Henderson, kicks one up, takes a weird curve, and it's recovered. A shot from Lydia Proya was blocked there, but Lydia Proya manages to recover the ball in traffic, passes it back to Wislocky-Wasecki, kick towards the box, headed out by Freeze, recovered by Paige Hammond, kicks it up, blocked and intercepted, dribbling through a shot, blocked again. Recovered now by Kimbrough. Kimbrough taps it over to Leshley. Back to Hall. Hall boots it upfield. Up to Henderson. Back to Bogus. Bogus taps back and forth. Bogus sends it up. Kicked back. Henderson. Henderson up to Moriarty. Back to Henderson. Up to McCauley. McCauley out to Penn on the far side. Penn's goal, the lone score so far between these two teams here in the first half. Has got about 3.5 minutes on the clock. This one out to Henderson. Henderson walking up with it. Tries to pass for Mila, but a little too far. Mila couldn't get a good break for the ball that time as it rolls out of bounds. Oops. Throw in. Deflects, goes back. Henderson tries to kick it forward, knocked back by Hall. And now sent back forward by Natick. Now Berkson gets a foot on it, but it goes right to Wislocky-Wasecki, who gives to Penn and sends it back to Hacker as Natick able to reset on offense. Penn now sends it out to Henderson. Henderson passes back to Bogus. Now out to Henderson again. Henderson trying to send one up for Nicole Proya. Tried to pass towards the middle, but kicked away easily by Lindgren Palm. Rolls all the way back to Bogus. Bogus looking, boots one towards the middle. Finds a target. It's tapped over to Penn. Back to McCauley. McCauley tried to go around a pick from Moriarty, but has to pass over to Wislocky-Wasecki. Back to Moriarty. Moriarty goes upfield to Lydia Proya. Back foot pass to Wislocky-Wasecki. Kick to the middle. Deflects up. Deflects a couple of times. Winds up at the foot of Mila. Now pass outside Henderson. Henderson walled on her kick there by Lindgren Palm. It's going to go out the back line for a corner kick for Natick. They're going to send Abby McCauley over to take this corner kick here. This one up in the air, and Sherwin trying to battle with Mila and just barely manages to recover that ball. That one almost became another dangerous chance for Natick as they appear to be getting firmly in control of the possession game here. Brookline really struggling to generate any offense here late in the first half. We are now in stoppage time with the stadium clock frozen at 2 minutes. So we're just waiting to hear the double whistle from the officials to signal the end of the first half. To the middle they go. Hammond goes back to Hall. It's stolen away. Stolen away by Nicole Proya. Tried to send a leading pass for a wide open streaking Olivia Penn, but she was offsides. She was ahead of the defense as Hall had dribbled past her before Proya took that ball away, and that left her in an offside position there. Battling for the ball, it's won by Natick. Kicked upfield, and there is the double whistle for halftime. Our score at the end of the first half, the Natick High Redhawks 1, the Brookline High Warriors 0. The lone goal of the game scored by Olivia Penn, assisted by Cassidy Moriarty on a bit of bad luck error in net for Brookline. But that is where the score is. As we go into halftime, I remind you this broadcast is brought to you in part by Esch Dental, located right in Coolidge Corner. Book your next dental appointment with local dentist and BHS sports parent Dr. Brandon Esch for the non-corporate personalized dentistry our community deserves. Call 617-566-0103 or go online to eschdental.com to find out more and book your appointment. Once again, 617-566-0103 or go online to easchdental.com. Give them your support if you got the chance, folks. It's always nice to support a local business, especially when they're doing their part to support another local business, namely me. Now, if you go down in the description section, you can find that link and phone number down there. You can also find a link to the official Venmo account of the Friends of BHS Soccer Booster Club, which supports all 6 Brookline High soccer teams, girls and boys, varsity, JV, and freshmen. And you can also find a link and phone number for our local charity spotlight for today, the Brookline Food Pantry. The Brookline Food Pantry provides groceries to Brookline residents in need of food assistance. The pantry has been serving an average of 650 households each week, and they are always looking for more people willing to lend a hand, whether through monetary donations, direct food donations, or volunteers in the pantry. Food donations can be made at United Parish at 210 Harvard Street in Coolidge Corner on Wednesdays and Fridays from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Monetary donations can be made online at the Food Pantry's website, brooklinefoodpantry.org. Go online or call 617-800-5339 for more information on how you can help feed your community. Once again, brooklinefoodpantry.org or call 617-800-5339. And all of those links and phone numbers can be found in the description section of this video down below. But that's going to put us on break here. At half, Natick 1, Brookline 0. From Memorial Field in Natick, Massachusetts, I'm Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I'm going to take a break and mute the mic, but I'll be back with the second half. Stay tuned. All right, back on the mic. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, coming to you live from Memorial Field in Natick, Massachusetts. Here to bring you the second half of tonight's high school varsity girls soccer contest between the Brookline High Warriors and the Natick High Redhawks. Natick with a 1-0 advantage over Brookline off a goal from Olivia Penn, assisted by Cassidy Moriarty, as Brookline suffered a bit of an unfortunate goalie error on that play as it bounced through the hands of the keeper and into the net. And boy, I mentioned it before as we get this one started, but generating offense against this Natick defensive line when they have a lead to protect is going to be such a huge challenge, because there's so much experience along that back line for Natick. And when they're able to, pull some more assets back in certain scenarios because they have the lead and they aren't as desperate for a goal, that just makes the defense that much harder for Brookline to break through. And then you throw in the fact that Brookline's leading scorer, Sydney Freeze, has been moved to defense. And this is going to be a Herculean task to generate some offense for the Warriors here in the second half. But they're not going to back down from the challenge, and they're going to give it everything they got. And a slip and a fall. Boy, if, as they say in baseball, swing and a miss. As that, I think, was Kira Henderson who slipped on that one. Thankfully, she's okay. Sometimes players will go down awkwardly when the kick doesn't go the way they expect it to, but she seems to be okay. That one off the head of Freeze, battling for it on the far side. Natick has the numbers there, and they recover the ball. They send it back to Stella Bogus. Pass up, gets away from Abby McCauley, taken by Lila Cannon, given over to Anna Leshley. Leshley pass back to Mirabelle Kesselman. Kesselman going up the line, pass up, just misses Cannon, but it's tapped back for Cannon. Cannon sends in a shot, and it's caught by Liesel Niedermeyer. Nice offensive push by Brookline there, but not able to get a great angle of a look, as that was pretty easy for Niedermeyer to close off the post there. Long kick goes off the head of Kesselman. Natick was trying to see if they could sneak one past them. They had Allegra Gagnon streaking down the near sideline. We got a stop to take a look at Kesselman. Is her nose bleeding or something, or are they checking her to make sure? So the ball went off her head. And now they've got her retying her shoe. It looks like they're making the motion for her to sub out. They might be having her out there for concussion protocols or something like that, as it did go off her head. Or because it doesn't look like her nose is bleeding or anything. Yeah, that's what happened. I think the official didn't like the way Kesselman's head snapped back when the ball went off her head, and so they're just doing a precautionary thing. They don't mess around with head injuries at this level. And so Kesselman going to temporarily sub out. She's probably going to sub back in after being looked at. But in the meantime, coming in for Brookline is number 12, Jamie McGee. The punt from Cherwin bounces along. Kicked away by Henderson, deflected, taken by Velena Chernychev. Passes it out to McGee on the near side, sends it up to Jada Kimbrough. Double team takes that ball away. Lydia Proya sends it back out to Lulu Wislaki-Wasecki. Deflects out of bounds, and Kimbrough gets the favorable deflection as Kesselman instantly subs back in. So she's okay, which is good to see. Kesselman has had a few scares during this season, and Brookline's had enough injury trouble as it is, having already lost Haley Ament, Juliana Siegel, and Amalia Lindgren-Palm throughout this season to injuries. Natick working it along the back line. McKenna Hammond applying pressure on Stella Bogus, knocks it out of bounds. Last touched by Hammond. It'll be Natick ball. Throw in goes off ahead. And a bit of a scrum around midfield, but it is recovered by Natick. Passed across to Wisecki. Sends it up to Lydia Proya. Across, intercepted by Leshley. Leshley boots one upfield, headed down by Kendall Hacker. It goes up to Olivia Penn. And Penn gets hit from behind by Kimbrough, and they're going to call the foul. They go for a fast free kick out to Henderson on the far side, sends it up the line, and it's knocked away from Megan Mila, out of bounds off Brookline. Throw in goes to Penn. Penn lifts a leading kick, and they call offsides. Just a bit too quick on the break upfield. It can be so difficult to time those rushes upfield for those leading passes to make sure that you're passing the defender after the ball passes them. And Nicole Proya was just a little bit off timing there. This one deflects off a couple heads, booted up in the air by Kesselman, and that's going to fly all the way to the box and be snagged easily by Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer punts this one, deflects. Back to Henderson, who taps it, but it's taken by Kimbrough. Kimbrough looking around, tries to pass back, intercepted immediately. Taken away there by McCauley. McCauley touches it to the outside, looking for Lydia Proya, but Julia Vianello with the get-back speed, able to knock that one out of bounds. Vianello's made a few nice defensive plays today along that near side wing, or that right side wing, I should say. Vianello boots that one upfield, bounces out of bounds. Oh, it was deflected off Natick. And so Brookline gets the throw in there. Vianello throws it into Kimbrough, who pops it straight up in the air and heads it forward. Bouncing around, it goes off the head of Wisecki, off another head, kicked up by Leshley. Knocked out of bounds by Hacker. Brookline moving slowly up the field off these out of bounds. Vianello throws it in. Kimbrough pops it straight up in the air again. Off ahead and over to McCauley. Knocked loose towards the middle of the field. Battle for the ball, and it's recovered by Moriarty as Natick once again had the numbers. Natick doing a much better job of swarming to the ball and getting more bodies to the general area of the ball so they can win those battles. They're not one-on-one battles if they're 2 or 3-on-1. Kimbrough passes back to Leshley. Leshley running upfield, pass up for Vianello. Vianello collects it on the near side. Crosser into the box, bouncing along. Oh, couldn't get a foot on it. Lila Cannon had a huge chance there, but just couldn't get her foot on it enough as it just deflects off and goes out the back line. Brookline been able to generate a couple of nice offensive looks early here in the second half as this goal kick is headed down by Leshley. Kimbrough tried to stop, but it's knocked away by Moriarty. Hacker kicks it up to Lydia Proya. Pass back to Moriarty, booted up off the head of Kesselman. And Proya just boxing out, letting it bounce out of bounds. Quick throw in up the line for Nicole Proya. So Proya from Proya as Nicole sends in a crosser. Caught out of the air, dropped, but picked up by Cherwin. Sherwin, after recovering that near disaster, punts it across midfield. This pass up, Moriarty taps it over to Bogus. Bogus, pass back to Henderson. Henderson up the line for Mila. Blocked, I think, by Priscilla Hill. Pass back to Chernychev and back to Kesselman. Kesselman up to Chernychev again. Taps it over to Leslie, give and go. Chernychev passes near side Vianello. Back to Kesselman. Kesselman boots it up in the air. Deflects off the foot of Henderson, and that's going to roll out of bounds. And it'll be Brookline ball. A quick throw-in headed down by Bogus. Knocked away by Henderson, out of bounds. Hill setting up to throw it in again. Aimed at Leslie. Leslie dribbling against Moriarty. Sends a leading kick too far for Vianello. And that's going to roll out the back line for a goal kick. Still 1-0 the score in favor of Natick, as number 9 Allegra Gagnon checks in, replacing Nicole Proya. Goal kick goes up the far side. Henderson passes over to Penn. Gives to Henderson and back to Bogus. Bogus up to Henderson. Henderson kicked upfield, and they called offsides as Milo was past the defense when that pass was kicked. Or no, did they roll out of bounds? Must have rolled out of bounds. They're throwing it in. And this one deflects towards the middle. Kesselman dribbling through a surprising amount of space and passes back to Chernychev. Chernychev dribbles up, pass up Cannon. Cannon tries to fit one through, but too much traffic. Recovered by Chernychev, but she's surrounded. Does manage to keep the ball. Turns around looking, tap over to Leslie. Leslie manages to fend off the double team and keep possession. Pass it back to Freeze. Freeze dribbling up, pass outside, and taken away from Hill by, I think, Henderson, as she also gets the favorable deflection out of bounds. Throw in tapped back, and Henderson boots it upfield. Goes over the head of Hall, and Hall has to pass it back to Sherwin to keep it away from Lydia Proya. Sherwin boots it upfield. Kimbrough takes it. Kimbrough pass across Leslie. Leslie dribbling upfield. Her pass blocked by Bogus, out of bounds. Kesselman throws it in, goes off the head of Hacker and out of bounds. Brookline again moving slowly up the field. Vianello throws it in. Leslie trying to dribble her way through and draws a foul. Leg got tripped up by Moriarty, and Brookline's going to have a big free kick chance here. This might be a tough angle, though, from about the 20-yard line of the football field. The defensive wall is going to have to move back a couple feet from where they are right now, but it's still going to be a very tough shooting angle if Kesselman decides to go for a shot. Odds are she goes for a crosser. We'll see. Lifts in a crosser. Oh, just missed on the header, and they couldn't get a foot on it before it's cleared out by Natick. That one was surprisingly close. Brookline staying on offense. The throw in, tapped back. Hill's kick blocked and ricochets way back to the Brookline side of the field. Freeze sends it back to Sherwin. Sherwin boots it up. And that one lost out of bounds. Wislaki Wasecki throws it in. Lydia Proya battling with Leshley. Manages to get a pass up to McCauley, but now it's stolen by Vianello on the help defense. Sends a long leading kick forward, too far for Hammond, and it's going to be scooped up by Niedermeyer. Now Henderson from the far side kicks it upfield, and it's going to roll all the way down to Sherwin. 24 minutes, 25 seconds on the clock here in the second half as Sherwin punts this one. Deflects down, Freeze kicks it upfield, headed away by Henderson. Penn passes it across to Mila. Mila being pursued by Hill as Henderson sends it back up to Mila, and they lose it out of bounds. So good pressure from Priscilla Hill along the wings to force that mistake. Throw in. Tapped back, gets to Chernychev. Chernychev back to Hall. Hall boots it off ahead. Vianello couldn't keep control of it on the near sideline. It rolls out of bounds. For Natick, number 15, Nicole Proya checks back into the game. I think she's replacing Megan Mila. And we've got a timeout called here. With 23 minutes and 27 seconds on the clock here in the second half. Natick still leading 1-0 as we get a timeout break. As we go into this timeout break, I remind you again, this broadcast brought to you in part by Esch Dental, located right in Coolidge Corner. Book your next dental appointment with local dentist and BHS Sports parent, Dr. Brandon Esch, for the non-corporate personalized dentistry our community deserves. Call 617-566-0103 or go online to eschdental.com to find out more and book your appointment. Once again, 617-566-0103 or go online to eashddental.com. And you can find that down in the description section down below. So Brookline has generated a number of decent looks here in the second half. You know, I mentioned how tough it was going to be to score on this Natick defense, especially with them playing with a lead, but one of the other things that can sometimes happen when a team has a lead is they sort of go into the soccer equivalent of prevent defense. You know, just trying to keep everything in front of them, not give up any huge surprise plays. And, of course, anyone who watches American football knows that when that happens, you know, a well-executed offense can sort of take advantage of that and slowly, methodically move the ball up the field. And that's sort of what we've seen Brookline do. They haven't been able to score, but they've generated their best offensive chances so far here in the second half. Off the timeout, the throw-in deflects off Penn out of bounds. So Brookline gets a bit of a break there as Leshley quickly throws it in. Deflected down, Kimbrough swoops in and takes it, trying to dribble her way through. Spins off, whiffs on the kick. Big swing and a miss there from Kimbrough as she created a bit of separation but couldn't get foot on ball with the attempted spin shot there. Now off that deflection, Penn keeps it, kicks it upfield, booted back by Hall. Kimbrough takes it, taps it forward, right into the realm of Bogus, who boots it the other way, goes off the head of Chernychev the wrong way, and it's taken by Nicole Proya. Nicole Proya has the ball wrenched away from behind by Chernychev. Pass goes back to Sherwin. Sherwin boots it up, goes past Vianello and out of bounds. Wislaki Wasecki throws it in. Tapped back to Wislaki Wasecki. Pass intercepted by Vianello, taps it towards the middle. Bogus going to take it and kick it away. Goes off the head of Gagnon and is just going to roll down to the box where it'll be picked up by Sherwin. Sherwin punts it, deflects down, and Chernychev recovers the loose ball. Sliding kick up the line, blocked by Henderson. Pass up, misses everybody, and Hall's going to chase that one down. Send it back to Sherwin. Sherwin boots it up the middle, goes off the head of Leshley, off the foot of Kimbrough. And now a collision for the ball. Swooping in for it is McKenna Hammond. Hammond taking off with speed. Hammond charging in. She needs some help. Sends in a crosser, deflecting through. A shot from Kimbrough sails through the football uprights. But another big rush generated by the Warriors offense there. As if that pass had been just a little further up as opposed to back, then Kimbrough wouldn't have had to like turn back around for it, and it wouldn't have been like almost the equivalent of a golf swing with her foot to send that one high and over the bar. Natick now moving it up through midfield. This is McCauley. McCauley sending a leader down the near side for Lydia Proya. Proya takes it in the corner, trying to get around the defense, but help comes in, deflects it out of bounds. And they're going to say last touched by Natick. It'll be a goal kick. Big play on the help defense. I think that was either Hall or Kesselman who came in as Proya tried to do a sort of a through-the-legs workaround move on Vianello. Sherwin's goal kick bounces out of bounds around midfield. Wisecki throws it in, and Kesselman deflects that one out of bounds. Throw in towards the box, bouncing through, and it's picked up by Sherwin. We are just past the midway point here in the second half, less than 20 minutes to go. This ball booted up by Kesselman, being chased after by Henderson. Henderson sends it upfield. Moriarty kicks it. Sent the other way by Freeze. Deflects off Chernychev and now booted up by Hall. Cannon trying to keep it in bounds. And she sends it back off the head of Freeze. And it's booted back the other way down the Brookline end where Hall takes it. Pass back Sherwin. And that pass misses Hall in part because ended up in the same vicinity as the official there. Throw in for Natick. And that's a handball as that one ricocheted, took a weird hop and went off the hand of Henderson. So Brookline setting up for a free kick. They move the ball up fast, and now Hammond sending a leader for Kimbrough. Kimbrough fighting through, keeping the ball. She's got it in the corner. Her pass blocked out of bounds. It'll stay Brookline ball. It's a bit out of our viewpoint here. Throw in. Battling in a tight space in the corner. And it rolls out as Leshley boxed out. And this is going to be a corner kick for Brookline. I think this is actually their first corner kick of the day. So much so that Brookline needs to figure out who they're sending out to kick it. They're going to send Chernychev over to kick this one. Again, we won't be able to see the corner, but we'll see it when it flies in. Chernychev's kick flies in. Just mistimed on the header. Vianello couldn't quite send it back in. Now tries to send it in, but blocked, and it's cleared out by Lydia Proya. Goes off the head of Freeze, recovered Kesselman. Pass back, and a little bit of pressure. They have to go back to Hall. Now back up to, I think, Kesselman. Now over to Leshley. Leshley collides hard with Lydia Proya, but no foul. as Natick takes it the other way. Lydia Proya dribbling, cuts back towards the middle, and couldn't get a kick off due to the sliding block of Leshley. But now back to Proya. Proya sends it forward for McCauley. McCauley gaining the edge, sends in a crosser, and it's around the back of the net. Out of bounds goal kick. Just under 17 minutes to go here in the second half. Still a 1-0 ball game. As this goal kick flies up. And Freeze takes it, passes up, and Leshley's having a bit of an equipment malfunction on the near sideline as this ball is taken away by Penn. Like, play is still going. I think Leshley just worked the equivalent of a pit stop. As that one rolls out the back line, and it's going to be a goal kick for Brookline. Well, that's one of the weirdest things I've seen in a soccer game. I've never seen a player come over to the sideline to fix an equipment malfunction while the ball was in play. That one knocked away by Kesselman, up to Kimbrough, but stolen back by Penn. Whoa! A hard hit on Penn from Kimbrough, and I think this one's going to earn her a card. Kimbrough pleading her case, but not going to win that case there. She's going to sub out as she gets the yellow card for that one. And subbing in for Brookline, number 22, Eva Berkson. And a free kick from around the 45 from Hacker, flies towards the box, goes off the head of Leshley, out of bounds. That's going to be a corner kick for Natick. Now, once again, it's in the near side corner, so we're not really going to be able to see the corner kick when it's kicked. Now Hacker setting up for the corner. They go for the short pass to Lydia Proya. Proya dribbling around, now sends in the crosser. Bounced past several players and missed. Cannon trying to dribble with it, but it's stolen back by Nicole Proya. Proya launches a shot, taken off a hop by Sherwin. Boy, that crosser from Lydia Proya bounced past dang near everybody as Brookline gets a bit of a lucky break there as the game stays a 1-goal margin. Priscilla Hill pushing it upfield, but disrupted, and it's kicked away by Moriarty. Up to Lydia Proya, no offside, but it's kicked away by Kesselman on the double team with Vianello. Now off a slip and fall, it's taken by Berkson. Berkson kicks it upfield, kicked right back the other way by Hacker. We got another whistle as it looks like they're taking a look at Priscilla Hill. And Hill is being told to come out by the officials. This is the second time we've seen something like this happen, as it looks like, I don't know what Hill's being looked like. Along the sideline, she looks completely fine. I'm not sure what happened there, but, you know, whatever that is, hope she's okay. You know, we saw Kesselman briefly come out for concussion protocol, but came back in pretty quick once it was clear she was all right. Now Natick running upfield. McCauley sending a leader for Lydia Proya. Proya dribbling. Pressure from Kesselman. Proya staying with it. Shot blocked by Hall. And it's cleared out by Chernychev. Kicked up to Penn. Now a scrum for the ball. It's kicked away, taken by Proya, fakes the kick, now stood up by Hall, and it's booted away upfield, and now it's a race. McKenna Hammond putting on the Jets, and coming all the way out to take it was Niedermeyer as she kicks that one out of bounds. It'll be Brookline ball. Hammond was generating a real threat there. Off this throw in, Leshley, too much pressure, and it's taken away. And now a pass over to Lydia Proya, goes back. Now up from Hacker to Wislaki. Lost it, kicked away by Vianello. Right to Bogus. Bogus boots it upfield, goes down to Freeze. Freeze past Kesselman, and it's knocked away by Lydia Proya, booted up in the air by Hall, and it flies out of bounds. Now Mila checks back in for Natick, as she's going to sub in for, I think, Gagnon. Wislaki. Takes the pass again, sends it back to Lydia Proya, and all the way back, goes off a couple of heads, tapped forward for Natick. Nicole Proya tried to lift one, but sliced it there, out of bounds. Less than 12 minutes to go, as we got another timeout called. Multiple timeouts and a half. That's actually fairly rare for soccer, but this is a close game between two highly ranked opponents. Score still Natick 1, Brookline 0. 11:56 on the clock here in the second half. As we got another timeout break, a reminder again, this broadcast brought to you in part by Esch Dental, located right in Coolidge Corner. Book your next dental appointment with local dentist and BHS Sports parent, Dr. Brandon Esch, for the non-corporate personalized dentistry our community deserves. Call 617-566-0103 or go online to eschdental.com to find out more and book your appointment. And you can find that phone number and link in the description section down below. We saw in both halves today, really, that Brookline was generating the majority of the early pressure early in the halves, but Natick was able to sort of get a second wind offensively in each half, and that's what we've seen. Brookline had a lot of great chances in the opening minutes here in the second half, as they did in the opening minutes of the first, but then Natick started swinging momentum and started generating some of the best chances. $11:56 on the clock here in the second half. Natick 1, Brookline 0. As this one booted upfield, deflected down. Tapped up, battling for it. Nicole Proya tries a shot, but didn't have an angle there and sends it wide. Sherwin sends a short pass to Freeze, who manages to tap it up to Leshley, who boots it straight up in the air. Off a couple deflections, Kesselman kicks it up. Berkson couldn't head it the right way. Penn deflects it. Bit of a scrum for the ball. Nicole Proya taps it out to Lydia. Lydia Proya dribbling in, looking for a shot. It was blocked by Kesselman, and it's going to roll out of bounds. And it'll be a corner kick for Natick. So another corner kick for the Red Hawks. Kick comes in off the head of Leshley and out. Hammond taps it further out, but it's recovered by Wislaki, who manages to boot it forward. Nicole Proya takes it in the corner, Dribbles out, sends one towards the net, and it's taken off a hop by Sherwin. Sherwin rolls it upfield, and Cannon's dribble blocked and ricochets hard all the way back to Sherwin. Now rolls it into Freeze. Freeze cuts around one, and now boots it across the field to Vianello. Vianello trying to give chase, and Vianello couldn't keep it in bounds, and it rolls out. Did get it significantly upfield. Throw in, and it's intercepted, taken by Vianello. Knocked loose by Natick, but Chernychev battling for the ball. It rolls out. Brookline ball. Substitution coming in for Brookline. Number 19, Jada Kimbrough, back in after serving the yellow card. Replaces Berkson. Off a couple of heads. Sent back. Kesselman sends it forward, and it's picked up by Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer punts it, bounces past Wisłocki-Wasecki. Kesselman throws it in, goes off the head of Wisłocki-Wasecki, kicked out of bounds. Kesselman throws it in, deflects back, Wisłocki-Wasecki. Too much traffic, it was knocked loose by Vianello, but kicked upfield by Henderson. Chernychev taps it over to Vianello, knocked loose by Wisłocki-Wasecki. McCauley couldn't handle it, and they're still battling for it. Ultimately, Chernychev comes away with it. Pass, Kesselman. Kesselman barely gets passed away to Chernychev. Cross now to Freeze. Freeze taps back to Hall. Hall up to Freeze. Freeze up to Chernychev. Chernychev sends it back to Hall. 8 minutes to go as Hall kicks this one upfield, gets to Cannon. Cannon tried to give it to Leshley, but knocked loose. Recovered by Hammond. Back to Cannon. Cannon launches a kick, and it's a loose ball, and it's recovered by Niedermeyer as Hammond was crashing in for the putback. And that one, very close, very dangerous there. Niedermeyer is back on her feet. But that was a tough play. Niedermeyer didn't cleanly get her hands around that first shot from Cannon. And so McKenna Hammond naturally crashing to try and knock in the putback. But that resulted in a hard collision with Niedermeyer. Just thank goodness Niedermeyer is okay. She's going to punt this one. Freeze tries to kick it back, but it's taken by Penn. Penn sends it upfield a little too far. It's going to be chased down by Freeze. Freeze just trying to box out, generate the goal kick. Nicole Proya keeps it in bounds, but Freeze cuts it off, kicks it up the line, but misses out of bounds. Natick ball. Just over 7 minutes to go here in this one. Natick still with a 1-goal lead. Throw in. Crosser almost there. Just missed. Recovered by Wisłocki-Wasecki. Taps forward for McCauley. The lefty crosser knocked away by Lindgren Palm. Booted back by Henderson, and that's going to go over the bar out of bounds. You got subs checking in for each side. For Brookline, Paige Hammond replacing Lila Cannon. For Natick, Allegra Gagnon comes in, replacing Megan Mila. Freeze boots it upfield, deflects forward. McKenna Hammond with the ball. McKenna Hammond dribbling up. Hammond trying to fend off the defense. Charges in, shot saved by Niedermeyer. Good get-back speed by the Natick defenders as they disrupted Hammond just enough to force her to kick from her left from a pretty fair distance, which made for an easier save for Niedermeyer. Ball punted along, headed forward by Nicole Proya. Hall chases after it, but lets Sherwin boot it away. Off the head of McCauley, off another head, booted upfield by Kesselman. That one going down the far side, and it's going to roll out of bounds. 5.5 minutes to go. We'll soon have the stadium clock freeze for stoppage time. Battling for the ball. Chernychev dribbling with it. Pass to Lindgren Palm. Taps it back to Hall. Hall boots it upfield. Goes off the head of Hammond. And Henderson boots it straight up in the air. And it's collected by Penn. Penn's kick blocked out of bounds. Natick ball. And now the clock frozen at 5 minutes for stoppage time. The only thing that will confirm when this game ends is the triple whistle from the official. Throw in. Moriarty kicks it upfield, deflects off Lindgren Palm, out of bounds. Or no, they say it went off a Natick player. Lindgren Palm throws it in, bounces past a couple players, taken now by Kimbrough. Kimbrough sending one forward for Vianello. Vianello charging in. Vianello scores! Julia Vianello ties it up for Brookline with the first goal of her varsity career. Not just the first goal of Vianello's career, but also the second assist of Kimbrough's and her first point of the season. Julia Vianello off the assist from Kimbrough. I don't have time to show the replay, but what a huge score from the Brookline offense. Ties it up with the champs at 1 apiece. And I tell you, folks, I feel like I'm living in deja vu land here. For the second day in a row, a Brookline soccer team gets a game-tying goal against Natick in stoppage time. For those of you who were able to watch my boys soccer live stream yesterday, you know that the Brookline boys were able to come back from a 3-1 deficit to tie it up in stoppage time, and now here the girls tying it up in stoppage time as well. Now a scrum for the ball. McKenna Hammond trying to break through, but the defense cuts her off. The clear recovered, though. Paige Hammond launches one, deflects, and it's taken off the hop by Niedermeyer. So once again, that tying goal scored by Julia Vianello, assisted by Jada Kimbrough. Vianello's first varsity career goal, Kimbrough's first point of the season, second assist of her career. Oh, we got an injured Natick player down, but Anna Leshley is rushing up with the ball. Anna Leshley launches a kick, goes over the bar, and now let's check on that injured Natick player, as that's Olivia Penn down. Appears to be holding her leg. It looked like she might have been holding her ankle. Oof. We've seen a couple of injury scares at different points during this game, but this one, the scariest one. Olivia Penn, one of the senior co-captains for Natick, and a big presence in their midfield. And I always say it, no matter who you're rooting for, you never root for an injury. But you know the Natick faithful especially hoping that she is okay. She is walking off on her own power, which is a good sign. And you know, as the weather starts to get colder, one of the things that we can always hope for when a player goes down hurt is you hope that it just feels worse than it is because of how cold it is. So Penn is going to come off. Mila back in the game. Goal kick for the Red Hawks. Here in stoppage time, tied at 1 apiece. Hacker Sends this one up to Henderson. Henderson, bunch of quick passes for Natick, goes out, back out to Henderson on the far sideline. And, oh, Henderson wasn't able to kick it before it rolled out of bounds. So Brookline is able to get a throw in here in Natick territory, deflects back. Chernychev heads it forward, but that one goes out of bounds, and now Natick gets the throw in. Natick throws it in up the line, deflected down by Freeze. Freeze keeps it in bounds, spins off of the forward pressure and boots it back. Knocked back by Henderson, but knocked back the other way by Leshley. Now Wislaki pops it up in the air. Deflects down, McCauley dribbling with it. Vianello pressuring her. And it's out of bounds, Brookline ball. Clock still frozen at 5 minutes is again the only thing that will let us know how much time is left is when the officials give the triple whistle to signal that the clock has hit triple zeros. Oh, bad deflection for Brookline, but Hall, the last line of defense, able to knock that one away. That one off a header and taken off a hop by Sherwin. Sherwin punts this one. Goes off a couple heads. Booted away by Henderson. And now Natick might have a bit of a chance here, rushing up with numbers. Lydia Proya battling, knocked away as Leshley came back to help Hall. And it's Natick ball. Wislaki kicks it, headed down, booted away by Freeze. And that's going to bounce out of bounds. And now we got a brief pause as Penn's back in the game. She's okay. So thankfully, it's another injury scare that was just that. Just a scare, nothing serious. Throw in, deflected out of bounds by Lindgren Palm, stays Natick ball. And there is the triple whistle. Brookline fights their way to a tie with the defending state champs. And for the second year in a row, Brookline gives Natick their first non-win of the season. Last year, Brookline was the only team that beat Natick in a thunderstorm-shortened game that Brookline won 1-0. And now Brookline puts an end to the perfect season. Not an end to an undefeated season, mind you, as Natick still has not lost. But Natick gets their first non-win here. The final score, Brookline 1, Natick 1. And boy, Brookline has got to be feeling pretty good about this result, especially defensively, after allowing 5 combined goals over the last 2 games against Braintree and Hopkinton, particularly that 3-goal loss to Hopkinton. They make a few changes on their roster spots, in particular moving Sydney Freeze back on defense, and they're able to hold Natick to just 1 goal, and one rather fluky goal at that. You know, you wonder what might have happened if not for that goalkeeping error, and it gives Brookline back the feeling that they really can compete with some of the best that the MIAA has to offer. And after the last couple of games, I think they needed that feeling back to remind themselves that they are a contending team. So Brookline's record moves now to 4-5-3. Natick's record moves to 9-0-1. Natick's goal came from Olivia Penn in the first half, assisted by Cassidy Moriarty. And for Brookline, the tying score in stoppage time on the score by Julia Vianello off the assist from Jada Kimbrough. Julia Vianello making some big noise with her first career varsity goal. And Jada Kimbrough with her first offensive point of the season, first assist, second career assist. And that is how this one ends. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I know we had some Wi-Fi issues here and there. So be sure to look to keep an eye in the description section of this video later tonight, as I'll be uploading the fully recorded version of this broadcast. And thank you, of course, to our sponsor, Esh Dental, located right in Coolidge Corner. Support local dentist and BHS Sports parent Dr. Brandon Esch. Call 617-566-0103 or go online to eshdental.com. You can find that link and phone number in the description section down below, where you can also find a link to the Friends of BHS Soccer Booster Club, which covers all 6 Brookline High soccer teams, girls and boys, varsity, JV, and freshmen. You can also find a link and phone number for our local charity spotlight, Brookline Food Pantry. And you can also go further down in the description section of this video for some links related to me, which you can also see in the bottom right corner of your screen. My personal website, jessesports.com. Find out more about me, the freelance sports broadcasting services that I provide to various teams, and how you can commission those services for your favorite team. And you can also just skip past all that and email me directly with any questions or requests you may have. And don't forget to follow me on social media, on Instagram and Facebook, where I post highlights from previous live streams. But for this live stream, that's going to do it. Final score, Brookline 1, Natick 1, from Memorial Field in Natick, Massachusetts. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thank you all for watching, and have a good night.